Hi YouTube, this is Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. I recently shot a video on what not to do and the bad skincare advice that I've seen, and I thought I'd do a little follow-up and make a video about what to do and the best tips that I found while exploring the world of skincare and K-beauty over the last several years. Hi, if you are new on my channel, thank you very much. Welcome, take a look around. I review a lot of Korean beauty and some Asian beauty, and I have a blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, with even more reviews. Today I am filming on Thanksgiving Day, so I wanted to take a few moments and just say thank you very much. If you've been with me from the beginning, I appreciate you. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you. Thank you very much for watching my stuff and reading my reviews. I know that time is such a finite resource, so I always appreciate when people take the limited hours in the day that they have and spend them reading or watching the things that I am providing for them. So over the last several years, I've been using Korean beauty quite intensively, and I came up with different tips and tricks to save time and money and sometimes sanity. This won't be anything earth-shattering. I am not in the business of kind of sensationalism when it comes to videos and my blog posts. I'm not looking for quick likes or clickbait type things. I try to provide things that would actually be useful. But hopefully you'll learn some new stuff from this. The main tip for saving money, of course, is to not buy things you don't need. And I did a whole video about that. I will put a link in the description box so you can just check out my channel. It's the holiday survival guide is what the holiday sales survival guide is what the video is called. But just a short summary, think about what you're buying and whether or not you really truly need it, and will you actually use it, or are you just falling victim to the season, to this overall sense in the media and social media of must buy, great deal. But a lot of the times it just ends up being wasted money and product that doesn't even get used up before the expiration date. Big part of any kind of beauty regimen is to use the products that you have in the most effective and efficient way. And I'll go ahead and start with sheet masks. My favorite way to use a sheet mask is while taking a bath. I know not everybody is a bath person. Some of us prefer showers, but even if you use your sheet masks after stepping out of the shower while you're still in that bathroom that is full of steam, that is going to help all of the nice ingredients in the sheet mask penetrate deeper. You're already pretty much hydrated because of all the steam, so you can lock in some of that moisture. And I post on my Instagram quite often pictures of myself in different sheet masks. I'll do mini reviews on there at KBeautyHobbit, and I do get asked sometimes by my friends, are you naked in the picture? Well, yes I am, because I'm taking a bath, but you know, the frame cuts off here. It's not that kind of account. Nothing gets too risque or scandalous on there, but yes, I am usually naked taking a bath and using a sheet mask. And it's a good multitasking type of thing, because not only am I hydrating my skin just sitting in the tub, I'm also taking care of my face, and it's very relaxing as well. And also the next tip is, after you've used that sheet mask, please don't save it to use it again the next day. That's really not safe. Sheet masks are not designed to be stored after that pouch has been opened. But right away, right after using it on the face, in that same moment, you can fold it in two if there's still lots of serum left, and if it's not any kind of exfoliating mask or some kind of acid mask, but if it's just a hydrating or nourishing mask, you can fold it in two and put it on your neck, on your throat, and kind of squeeze a little bit extra out of it to provide some much needed nourishment to that neck. Now, speaking of the neck, there are some specialized neck creams that tend to be very rich and very moisturizing. And if you have oily skin everywhere else, like on your face, and you are buying a lot of creams that are oil control, yeah, you might want a separate product for the neck. If you have just normal skin or dry skin, whatever you're using on the face is usually okay for the neck. But for somebody like me, I have combination skin, so I have some of those oil control type products. I like to use eye cream on the neck, and it's one of the ways to kind of multi-purpose a product. Plus, a lot of the times, eye creams, even though the jars or the tubes are quite small, they still, you take so little every time on the eyes that for me personally, it still might be a struggle to finish a tube in the time that is appropriate for the expiration of that product. You know, so it's nice to be able to use that cream not just on the eyes but also on the neck. And if you have any kind of problem areas with more fine lines and wrinkles, like the forehead for example, or the nasolabial folds, these right here, then you can apply eye creams to those areas as well. The eye cream I'm currently using is by Whamisa. It's their chai tea eye cream. A little pet peeve of mine, really dislike when people and products say chai tea. The word chai means tea. It's kind of redundant. Tea, but okay. But this is a wonderful, pretty rich cream, but it's not heavy. I haven't had any kind of problems like Milia. Sometimes very heavy eye creams can cause some congestion around, and you get these little white bumps that are called Milia, but this one's pretty good. I got it when Glow Recipe had their major sale when they were discontinuing all these brands, but I think it's still on eBay and Amazon. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the description box, but any eye cream that you use should be okay on the neck. Switching gears into makeup a little bit, I am one of those people that doesn't use foundation very often or consistently. I do have some on hand usually just in case, and I have two different tips about foundation. So tip number one is don't feel like you have to apply it to the entire face. For me, for example, I get sometimes a little redness or irritation. It might be right in these areas over here on the cheeks, or it might be something here on the jawline, but my forehead is typically pretty clear. And I find that I personally, if I put foundation all over my face, it can look a little masky. And also throughout the day, I have a pretty active face, so I like to raise my eyebrows a lot, and sometimes this foundation starts to kind of settle into the little fine lines here. It just doesn't look very good. So what I do is I apply it almost like a concealer. So I don't need quite the heavy coverage a concealer provides typically, but if I just want some more even tone or just want to look a bit more put together and like I actually put in an effort into my appearance that day, I will go ahead and apply foundation or BB cream to these targeted problem areas, and that seems to work really well for me because then most of my face, like the forehead and the sides, that's just skin with a little powder on top, and it looks pretty natural and nothing's caking and creasing. So as long as you pick a good shade for your skin that seamlessly or mostly seamlessly blends with your natural skin tone and you kind of blend it out really well, that should work. The one I'm using currently is this, I don't know how to pronounce it, AIPPO, AIPPO ceramic BB cream. This one's really nice. I really like it. I've done a mini review of it on my Instagram. I haven't done a full review on my blog yet, but it's a little pump bottle. And I love this kind of applicator because you can dispense as much or as little as you want. And it blends seamlessly. It doesn't dry my skin, doesn't have an oily shine or anything. And this one is a pretty light to medium coverage. And my second tip when it comes to foundation is if you have a product that is a bit too heavy of a coverage for you, but maybe you're being frugal and don't want to toss it and don't want to pass it on, or maybe there's some other attributes of this product that you enjoy, you would like to use it up. Something I've discovered, and I don't know if I invented this, to be honest, there might be other people who do the same thing. I tried it on a whim, but I'm not going to claim to be the inventor of this tip because it's possible that other people, you know, also do this. But what I've been doing with these heavier BB creams, or if I just want a very, very, very light coverage, much lighter than what it already provides, is I mix it with a tiny drop of clear aloe gel. I've used different aloe gels before. I've had a watermelon one even by Etude House. I've had the iconic Holika Holika one that comes in a big tube that looks like an aloe leaf. I've had some that look like cucumbers before, and the one I have right now, oh, there it is, okay. It is by a brand called Aromatica, so this one is organic, but I think any kind of clear gel, as long as it doesn't have drying alcohols, or if the drying alcohols aren't, you know, toward the top of the ingredients list, should work. So I just really take a little drop of this into my palm or on the surface here of the hand, and then a little drop of the foundation like this one or any other whatever you're using, mix them up right in my hand and then apply. And it provides a bit of an extra hydration as well because of the aloe gel, and it just kind of gives the skin this natural but better kind of look. So it won't cover anything too crazy. It won't cover like really extensive breakouts or huge red spots, anything like that, but it just makes the whole look a bit more polished, and it just makes me look healthier and like I maybe sleep more than I do. Anyway, that's my tip for the foundation. In case you can't tell yet, none of these tips are in any kind of particular order, so I just wrote things down throughout the last week or two as I remembered them. I was planning to make this video, and so I've just been kind of thinking about this, and I wrote them down in this thinking. So it is fall right now. It's actually snowing where I am in the Midwest today, and it's, like I said, Thanksgiving Day, so it's getting drier and colder, and indoors we're running heat, of course, all the time. So dryness is a huge issue, not just for the hands, but for the face as well. I have a video on what I do for dry hands that you can find on my channel. I'll put a link in the description box. But one of the pretty affordable tips, or it has a one-time cost and then no maintenance cost really, is to get a humidifier and to run it at night in your bedroom. Or you can run it throughout the day as well if you have an office where that's allowed. Do be careful with that because humidifiers obviously use water, and in some offices you might not want to set that like next to your computer or next to your keyboard because, you know, water, electronics, not a good combination. But at night definitely. And I started using a humidifier when I was pregnant for an unrelated reason, because I kept getting bloody noses when I was pregnant with my daughter 6 years ago, and somebody recommended a humidifier at night to help with that. And I just noticed as a side effect that the skin on my face was much better, and I woke up with way fewer pillowcase impressions on my face and those kinds of things, and my skin just looked nicer. And then of course I find out that this is definitely a thing that people do, and I see YouTubers recommend it, so I just never knew about it until I kind of myself accidentally rediscovered the wheel. So now I sleep with a humidifier all the time, all year long, and it really helps not just the dry nose and the subsequent bleeding, but the dry skin on the face and the hands as well. Circling back to the makeup topic, it is obviously very important to keep all of your makeup application tools very clean. And while I have no problems just using mild unscented hand soap on things like eyeshadow brushes, which mine are synthetic so they can be washed with soap like that, but the things like BB cream applicators, like those little beauty blender type things, or anything that is used to apply BB cream or CC cream or anything that's not water soluble like that, I had a very hard time washing that. And a good analogy is if you put like olive oil, let's say, on your hands and then try to wash it out with soap, you know how there's just a oily kind of film that's left behind and the soap just doesn't touch it. Well, the same thing with makeup brushes and BB creams and CC creams. And there are special cleansers. I picked up a special beauty blender cleansing bar from Ulta one time, just looked like a little piece of bar soap, and that's not really working super well for me either. And I haven't explored all the brands of that. Maybe there's some better than others, but I am pretty frugal and I like to use what I have. So one day I tried my 2-in-1 cleanser. The one I have right now is this Holika Holika Lazy and Easy All Kill Cleanser, oil to foam. I picked it up for I think it was something crazy like $5 at TJ Maxx, and I am going to be completely honest, on the face it is not a great product at all. It is pretty heavily fragranced. It starts out as an oil, so you apply it to dry skin before any other cleansing products and kind of massage it around, then add water and it emulsifies slash foams, becomes a foaming cleanser, and then you wash it off. It's supposed to take off all foundation and everything else, everything that an oil cleanser plus a foam cleanser would take off, but this is supposed to do it all in one step. And I tried doing just that for a couple weeks while I was out of an oil cleanser and didn't want to buy a new one. I was trying to use up what I had, and I ended up with a bunch of closed comedones and some texture issues. It just wasn't a good idea. So, but nonetheless, I have half a bottle of this left and I didn't want to just pitch it. So I started washing my beauty blender and my foundation brushes with it, and for that, it works amazing. It does take off everything, it seems, at least, and it makes my brushes very clean. So if you have some kind of two-in-one product that is not working really well for you, or maybe if it is working well for you but you just want to get a little extra use out of it, or if you come across this one at your local TJ Maxx or Marshall's, you know, $5 is a pretty good price. I feel like for a brush cleanser, it would have been a good price for a face cleanser if it actually worked, but not for me. Next tip is a makeup primer is not just for use before foundation. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm not a big foundation person. I am pretty fortunate when it comes to skin tone and breakouts. I don't have a lot of problems with those things, so I can usually get away with just using powder in the mornings and no foundation, not even concealer most days. And then on top of being fortunate, I'm also pretty lazy, so I don't usually want to spend the time in the morning doing more than absolutely necessary as far as makeup goes. But I have found a combination skin with an oily T-zone and kind of drier cheeks, and I can get oily throughout the day sometimes. And what I've noticed is that if I put on a primer, right now I'm using this one. It is a Laneige Glowy Makeup Serum. It's called a serum, but really it's a primer. It's applied as the very, very last step right before applying foundation. But in the past I've used a primer by the Siam, which was a more traditional like squeeze tube, clear, silicone based, I'm pretty sure, primer. And I've used some other ones, but pretty much what I've noticed is if I do all of my skincare steps for the day, which finish with SPF, and then once the SPF has a chance to get absorbed into the skin and the skin feels pretty dry, or not dry as in dehydrated, but dry as in all the products have absorbed, I can then put on a bit of primer, and not necessarily to the whole face, but just to the oily areas like the nose, the forehead, the chin, a little bit on the cheeks right here, and then do my powder. Then I'm not oily all day long. But if I just stop at sunscreen and then do the powder and skip the primer, I can get shiny and oily, especially when it's warmer outside or in the summer. So I've been using this thing pretty much daily, and it's very pretty. Yeah, I've been using it daily, almost daily since I've bought it, and I've made quite a bit of progress there, as you can see. It just takes a few drops, but this specific primer actually makes my skin kind of glow. Not an oily shine, but glow. I've talked about it before, but I keep talking about it because I really love it, and not everybody does, but for me it works really well. But any kind of primer that you have, the whole point is that if you are on an oilier side, you can apply primer without applying foundation and then just set it with some kind of translucent powder, and that should help with the kind of lunchtime shiny, greasy sheen that some of us tend to get. And the next set of tips is about being kind to the skin and minimizing the damage that we do to it. So one thing that can kind of damage the skin and cause micro tears even, and cause some premature fine lines and wrinkles, is friction. And one way to reduce friction is to sleep on a silk pillowcase. I've written about it on my blog before, and I've talked about it, I think, a bit in the videos. I think about the hair. But a silk pillowcase is great for both hair and skin. It's a very smooth, soft material, kind of, well, silky to the touch, obviously, because it's silk. Yeah. I have such a way with words sometimes, you guys. I just can't help it. Anyway, so it reduces friction of the pillow on the face, so you can wake up with fewer indentations on the face and fewer lines from that. It also has less friction on the hair, so it can reduce the breakage and the damage to the hair shafts. I bought one on Amazon a few months, years. I think it's been like a year and a half now, maybe even a little bit longer. And it says hand wash only, but I just run it on a delicate cycle and I lay it flat to dry, and I haven't had any issues with that whatsoever. Mine happens to be red because when I color my hair with henna, for the first like week sometimes afterwards, the henna can kind of transfer to the sheets and stuff. So I just got a red one, but there are many, many different colors. So I strongly recommend you look into that. But as far as new tips go that I don't think I've talked about on my channel before, is not using a face towel. And that is something that I did not come up with. I read about it, that apparently, and I don't know the validity of this, and if you know, tell me in the comments, but I've heard and read that a lot of women in South Korea, where all of this wonderful Korean beauty originated, do not use a face towel. And I thought at first, well, how is that possible? Then I watched a video of somebody talking about it, and the point was, after you wash your face and there's some moisture left on it, you just take your hands and very gently kind of just move the water off a little bit, just the kind of the obvious drops. And then right away, while the skin is still moist, you apply the toner and the serum, your essences, everything else, while the face is moist. And I've talked about applying skincare to the skin while it's still moist to lock in all of that wonderful hydration, but the towel thing is kind of a big part of that, because not only can a rough towel cause micro tearing in the skin, which we can't see, but it does cause irritation, can cause premature fine lines and aging and wrinkles, but also it can absorb too much of that water that we're trying to lock in. So it's been, I'm not even sure how long now, I think at least half a year, but probably longer, since I've read that, and I just stopped using a face towel. And the same thing for things like cotton pads. When I first started with Korean beauty, I mean, I grew up in Russia, and I'm so used to all of the advertisements back there, and like watching my mom doing her skincare stuff. I'm so used to seeing women, take a cotton pad or a cotton ball, apply toner on it, and then kind of wipe the face. And so when I started doing Korean beauty, I started to try to do that with toners. And right away, I thought one thing, and wow, this is so wasteful. You use all these pads all the time and then just toss them right away. But two, then I read that actually is too much friction for the skin, and that our hands are so much more gentle than these toner pads. So now I squeeze toner directly into my palms, right out of the bottle, just shake it out. I kind of pat the hands gently together, and then I just smush them on the face carefully and just kind of pat it in and do it that way. And it works so well for me. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going back. The only time I use any kind of pads is if they are already, if the product comes like that. So if it's toner pads in a jar, so they're specifically made this way already, and I might use them in the morning to help wipe off kind of the remnants of nighttime skincare while also toning the face at the same time. And I also have some exfoliating pads that are soaked in exfoliating solution. Same thing. But as far as actual just individual cotton pads, I don't really use them except for sometimes really heavy duty eye makeup remover. But most of the time I just use my hands for things. And this brings me to the next point. Watch carefully how you are applying your skincare. This is something I was very fortunate to learn from my mom at a super early age. She read it somewhere, I don't know where, maybe a friend told her, I don't know. This was before Google, so I really have no idea where they got the information from back then. Books, I'm guessing, or magazines. But she always told me to follow the lines of the face when applying anything. So lotion, makeup, sunscreen, whatever. You don't ever want to pull your face down. You don't want to get lotion or any other product in your hands and then grab and just pull and apply it this way. Or if you are using a face towel, against my advice, that's your choice. But when you wipe your face, do not pull down, you know, at least dab. So, because if we do this a couple times a day, every single day, for most of our lives, all of that pulling can kind of exacerbate the effects of gravity and just start sagging things, and we don't want that. So the way that I apply my skincare is I follow the lines of the face, so from the bottom up and from here up, and then on the forehead kind of to the sides, and then on the neck from here up. And that's how I apply all of my products. And as I do it, I kind of do like a very gentle, without stretching, I do a little tapping massage. So I might take some lotion and warm it up in my palms. And warming up the product before application helps it penetrate deeper and work better. And it's not enough that we just bought a bottle or a tube of this wonderful product. It is also very important to apply it in the best way possible, to get really every bit of benefit from that product, just out of respect for our time and our money. You know, if we're going to spend time doing a skincare routine and obviously spend money on these products, it makes sense to really try to apply it in the best way possible so that they can do their job the best. So I warm it up in my palms, and it just takes a few seconds, and then do this light kind of tapping. I might do this first to kind of get it on the skin, and then with fingertips, just a light tapping motion, kind of following these lines. And I grew up being told not to touch my face, which makes sense during the day when you have dirty hands, or you know, you have makeup on and whatever else, you might not want to touch your face. But in the evening or in the morning when you're doing your skincare routine, do touch your face. Touch it, massage it gently, help all the things flow, improve the circulation, the blood flow to the skin. Do touch it. There are some wonderful resources for facial massage. You can look up some videos, you can read some books, but it's wonderful to just go ahead and spend some time kind of getting in touch with your skin. And I have a lot of tension here, which is why I have these little fine lines. And so just, you know, rubbing very gently, just massaging with a good quality facial oil, for example, just does wonders. Everything relaxes, and it's a wonderful feeling. So take the time sometimes to do that. Look up how. I'm not an expert, but, you know, experiment and see what works for you. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Last week I asked about whether or not I should color my roots again, and what people thought about letting my hair grow out from henna, and I'm still not totally decided overall what I'm going to do, but for now I did go ahead and refresh my color, and I redid my eyebrows, and I did all of that myself at home, and it makes me feel better, I think, when I have the brighter red hair versus my natural blonde. So it might be a thing that I stick with. Maybe I'll extend the length between colorings from what used to be 4 weeks to maybe now it'll be 5 or 6, I'm not sure. I decided that I don't have to decide right now. I'm going to kind of minimize my stress about that and just see how things go and decide when the time comes. So thank you very much for watching. I have different social media channels where you can find me. There's Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog KBeautyHobbit.com, my Facebook group Korean Beauty Fanatics, where you can ask questions and you can share your own reviews. We don't allow advertisements in there or any kind of weird spam, so it's a safe place for people to share their ideas and find other people who are into Korean and Asian skincare and beauty. So I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you next Saturday. Until then, please remember to always listen to your skin, and as always, I'm very thankful for you. I know when this video goes live, it will already be the after Thanksgiving weekend, but still, today is Thanksgiving when I'm filming it, so I'm thinking of all the things that I'm grateful for, and of course my readers and my viewers are very high on that list. Thank you very much. Bye.